Hello, my name is Jennifer Engel. I wasn't going to do a video today, but sometimes a topic comes to mind and I feel called to share about it. So today's topic is hope while on hospice. I've been on hospice for 9 months and we're gonna start going on 10 months soon. And when you're on hospice and you're getting maybe closer to the end, it can be a little bit harder to hold on to hope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a poem that I wrote today. Then I'm going to kind of talk about where that poem came from and then give some tips, because life is hard. You don't have to be on hospice to have a hard time holding on to hope sometimes. So hopefully the tips will help. In the subconscious field, there are seeds of hope scattered across the grid. Some easy to find, created by the mind. Some elusive until another comes along. Decisions need to be made. Hold on to your own that you have been maybe even trying to nurture and allow to begin to grow. Or be intentional and trade for a much different point of view that couldn't have been coming to you, but yet could end up being your true north. All right, so where did this come from? Well, part of it kind of is very similar to a quote by Maya Angelou: "Do the best you can until you can do better." There's 3 places where this poem that I came up with, Seeds of Hope, came from. And I've talked about some of this in previous videos before. The first one is the first 6 months I focused on I was going to die in 6 months. And so I was planning on focusing on the seed of dying. And it didn't happen. Here we are, 9-10 months later. Then I went into the hospital and I felt a little bit better. And so that was one seed of hope, feeling a little bit better. And then that's when I turned my mind around, that rather than focusing on dying, I was going to focus on living until I had no more life. The second seed actually was kind of not as positive. So the second seed was when I have energy, because I'm atrophying pretty quickly. I thought, okay, I will get up, I will exercise, I'll do all these things. But there's a difference. When you are not terminal, when you exercise and things like that, it might give you energy and a boost. But when you are terminal, a lot of times it'll just make you tired, and you sit and rest anyway, and you atrophy anyway. So at first I was really positive, and then there are times definitely where I'm not, and that kind of made me really sad. So the second seed that I was focusing on, similar but different, is I kind of dropped back down to focusing on, I'm going to atrophy, I'll end up in the bed, and I might be there for a month or more. I started to go back down. I started focusing on a more negative seed. But then, today, a third seed popped up into my reality. I have 2 different caregivers, and not that they're promising me anything, but they have seen through their experience, some people still hang on to their strength. They're still able to walk, and they're only in bed for a week during the dying process. So I didn't even know that was a choice. So that's kind of what part of this poem is about, that, there's so many different choices. I was working, one of the things I do is distract myself by coloring, and there was like this compass coloring page, but it's very indicative of what I'm talking about. If you were to look at like all the different choices, let's say all the leaves on here are all the different choices, different seeds that I could focus on, right? Different possibilities. And there is one that is different than all the rest. And so that's what I'm choosing to focus on, and that's what I'm choosing to be my true north. So the thing that I'm going to be focusing on is maybe I can still hang on to my strength. And maybe it won't be bad and it will be peaceful. Now that's an intention. That's something that I have to choose, right? All right. So that's kind of where it came from, the different seeds. And sometimes you create them in your mind, like I created the worst case scenario. And sometimes other people come along and give you a seed that you could focus on that's even better. And that's what I did. Now, some people think that to surrender instead of fight, which is what I'm doing, is to give up. But to me, surrendering to this natural process is the ultimate display of hope. With that said, you have to make sure you know what you are surrendering or focusing upon, right? So how do you know that you're surrendering or focusing upon the best possibility, the best seed? Well, in my experience, it is if the end result leaves you feeling better and more peaceful, then you're focusing on the right seed, the right thing for you. If the end result is more painful or it rips you away from people, then you're focusing on the wrong seed, the wrong choice. It's kind of as simple and easy as that. For example, and why I say the end result is that there are some times where, okay, if I want to be walking and up and whatever as much as possible before I run out of life, then I need to get up and move. And sometimes that is a little painful, or I'm out of breath a lot. But think about like when you exercise, right? It might be painful in the moment, but over time you see the gains and it's positive. So sometimes you can still be uncomfortable, but you're still surrendering to the better seed, the better process, the better choice. So similar to Maya Angelou's quote, do the best you can until you know how to do better. I say do the best you can with the seeds of hope that you've nurtured. But if you find a better one, don't be afraid to hand it over and start over nurturing a new seed that could actually be your true north, save you from the darkness, and lead you back into the light. And when I talk about the light, I'm talking about like a light heart, a light mind. I found that when your mind and your body are light, then nothing bad can really get to you. And you can really level up that power of lightness within your soul, within your mind, within your heart, when you're connecting with other people. It's similar to the Bible quote where it says, "Where 2 or 3 of you gather in my name, there I am with you." Most people say there Jesus is with them. If you look in the Bible, there are other words that you could put in there. The light is with you. The door to something new is with you. The truth is with you. the resurrection, life after death, is with you. And so that's why my true north is you have to be intentional about it. You know, I could focus on the negative, something that would bring me down. And so what I do is I put pictures, I put symbols, I journal what I really want to focus on. And a lot of times I find things just kind of happen that way if I'm intentional and I focus on that seed of hope. So yeah, there are some times where I lose hope, and then I share that with other people. They hold on to that hope for me, and then they give it back when I can hold on to it again for myself. Also, I'm intentional. I choose what I focus on, and I've really been lucky in connecting with people, and that really does keep a lot of the negativity away. So even if you're afraid to surrender to whatever unknown that you might have in your life, just take a chance. Instead of focusing on fear, try to focus on the hope. And when fear shows up, don't ignore it. Just show it. Say, you know what? I'm not focusing on you. I'm focusing on this, what I want to do. And if I can do that while I am facing one of the biggest unknowns, I hope with time and practice that you can do that too.